Hi folks, we're just going to show you how to add or subscribe to the events calendar. I'm just at the front page here. You click on events and in here we'll see the entire calendar displaying on a monthly basis. If you want to see a different display, firstly you can just have a look here and you can see there's a drop down that gives you different display options. We'll leave it at month for the moment. And then here we've got categories. So if you're searching for a particular type of event, you can actually search under here and it will drill down into those particular entries that are to do with whatever category you choose. You can actually choose multiple categories as well. What we're going to do here is just show you how to add an event or the whole calendar to your calendar on your computer. You'll see down here there's a number of entries. We're just going to right now show you how to add the whole calendar. There's the subscribe button there. You click on that, it's a drop down. We'll see some options. If you're using Google Calendar, that's what you click there. If you're using a PC with Outlook, you could use that. Apple adds that, obviously, the Apple Calendar on a Mac. And add to other calendar is the kind of, you might use that to add to a plain text calendar of some sort. You can also actually, if you're on a Mac, for example, and you're using Thunderbird and you're using the calendar in Thunderbird, which is one of the mail browsers, you can also add it by clicking here. We're just going to show you how to add to an Apple calendar. It's much the same for all the calendars on different computers. So click here, and it offers an option here. In this case, we're going to choose Calendar, which is the default application on a Mac. Just choose OK. Up here we'll see the URL, which is of that particular calendar. And it's the whole calendar that we're adding here. So what we might want to do here is, we just need to understand that's going to get added to all the events in that calendar to my calendar here on the computer. So we would click subscribe. I won't go through the full extent of this. I'll show you how to delete a calendar later on. At the moment it says untitled, so we would want to say that's the TBG, Team Builder Global calendar there. Oops, misspelt calendar. And that's it. And I'm just choosing which cloud account I'm going to use to install it. A couple of important things here. Where it says remove alerts and attachments, attachments mean that there might be pictures or something like that. You might want to remove the attachments. They're not particularly relevant to the calendar entry. They're only relevant when you're on the website looking at the original calendar. But you might not want to. You might want to leave alerts unticked because that will set up any alerts that you get prior to the event, reminding you that that's going to that event is coming up in a day or an hour or something like that. The next thing to look at is the auto refresh. Here I would set that to say every hour, and that's just in case the person who's created the calendar at TBG makes a change. It might be a change in the time or the venue or speakers, information about the event or something like that. And ignore alerts. That's essentially you would click that if you want to ignore all the alerts that have been set by the person who created the calendar. Okay, so I would not tick that. I would want to see the alerts, but that's a setting that you can come back and change later on. And you just go OK. I'm not going to go OK because it's going to add the calendar a second time to my own calendar. But you just go OK here, click OK, pardon me, and that's it. It's added to your calendar. I'll just cancel out of that. I'm going to show you something else now, which is where what we do is we go to a particular event. So that was what I just showed you, was how to add the entire calendar for the whole of Australia and elsewhere, mainly Australia. If you're a hardcore business builder and you want to build your team, you might want to know about all of the events that are going on around the whole of Australia. So in my case, I would add the entire calendar because I want to know if there's something on at Toowoomba or Brisbane or Wodonga or Melbourne or Sydney. I want to know that that's on so I can tell my downline about that. But you might just say, look, I'm in Noosa, that's the only stuff I need. Or I'm in Sydney, or I just want to get the getting started into my calendar. So we'll just pick one at random here. We'll say the New Zealand one, just over here. We click on that in the calendar, the main calendar here. It opens up that specific event. tells us a bit about it, how to join the webinar and that kind of stuff. Same thing, we're just going to add to calendar here, and in this case we're just adding that single event to our calendar. So we go, in my case, because I'm on a Mac, I go add to Apple Calendar, I choose calendar, subscribe, and it's doing the subscription, but it already has a title up here, Team Builders Global. That's the name of the calendar for that particular event, not for the entire calendar. Okay, so it's just this one event I'm putting in. I'm going to leave the alerts in. I'll get rid of. I don't want the attachments, and I want it to refresh every. For me, every hour would be pretty good. And I'm going to go OK. And what we'll see then is that that event has been created. If I scroll down somewhere here, Team Builders Global, there it is there on the left column. Now, you might say, oh look, I don't want to get that anymore. So one of the things, when you've subscribed to a calendar, you can't delete the calendar. Okay, you can change the subscription settings, which are pretty basic here. Well, in fact, you can't. Looks like no, you can't. In fact, but what you can do is, if you want to, you can change the name of the calendar, and you can actually also right-click and you can unsubscribe. This is how, if you just no longer want to receive those, or if you made a mistake when you were setting up the subscription, just go unsubscribe, confirm that you want to unsubscribe, and there you are. It's gone from your calendar. I would say that you can do that if you feel you've made a mistake setting it up with the notifications and that kind of thing. You would want to delete it and start again, because you can't change the settings on someone else's calendar, events calendar that's feeding into your calendar on your computer. You can't change anything. You can only delete it or change the name of it. So if you made a mistake with how often you want to refresh, for example, then you might say, oh, okay, well, I'm now going to set that again. I don't want it to refresh once every hour. I just want that to refresh, let's say once a day would be okay for me. Remove the attachments, ignore alerts, leave that unticked. You could actually give this another color here as well, by the way, but I've just left it as default brown. And there we go. I've changed the settings, and if we wait for a second, once that refreshes, there it is again over here. So it's back in my calendar. That's pretty much how you do it.